social media is not optional for us, right? It is not optional. And so we have to make the decision that, hey, I'm not going to have the sugar for 30 days. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever's healthy for you, it's important that you decide that I want to be in this space, but if I'm going to be in this space, I need to protect my wellness. And you do what's necessary in order for you to do that so that your day to day living is not consumed by social media in a way that you're not thriving and you're not living your best life.
Cause of noise, hear rewind, breathe it in. Your permission to reflect and reset begins. Dr. Sarah, the mind is high. Brian gets the heart just right. Lena, the coach to ignite. Oh, pause the noise, reset and reset. Pause the noise, reset and reset. Your time, your space, your life, your best. Pause the noise, reset and reset.
Pause the noise, where we give you permission to reflect and reset. I am Brian Stokes. Dr. Sarah Nicholas is with us today, and Lena Wilson. I sound like a news reporter, but it's all good. Y'all, today we are talking about social media and burnout. Dr. Sarah, can you take it away?
Sure. So the reason why I wanted to bring this topic in is on my own reflection, I really started to realize how much of an impact social media is having in my own personal life. And just for some context, in grad school, everybody used to call me Nana Sarah because I am like a grandma when it comes to technology, when it comes to social media. I literally just learned the other day how to like switch from one profile to the other. My husband has to teach me things all the time. I was the type of person that was almost never on my phone. People would always think, Sarah, we can never get in contact with you. And I would just say to them, like, my phone is never in my hand. I'm just in the moment in my life doing the things. And what I've noticed over the last maybe 2 to 3 years, probably maybe since COVID, low key, since I downloaded TikTok, my phone is always in my hand. I can't even go to the bathroom without my phone anymore. I literally on turning inwards, I can feel my brain bored. I
Mm.
feel it. Like when I go to the bathroom without my phone, I have this urge to immediately pick it up. In the morning, I feel the first thing I feel like I have the urge to do, my brain is telling me you need to start entertaining yourself immediately. And
Mm-hmm.
I was never this person before. And so I am on this journey to really understand what is happening to us. Because
Mm-hmm.
if it's happening to me, someone who was never on their phone, I can't imagine how much is happening to people, to the generation, first off, that like had the like has never not had the internet, right? And to everybody around. I notice it in my mom. My mom is constantly on Facebook now. I notice it in pretty much everyone around me. My husband and I, at the end of the day, we're like both on our screens, and we have to intentionally put our phones down. So that's one
Mm-hmm.
reason why I wanted to bring up this topic today. The second reason is that I am noticing that when I'm going on to social media for entertainment, because I'm more of a lurker than a creator, I'm like trying to get like you guys be a creator, but I'm more of a lurker. Um, I am noticing that when I'm going in for entertainment, when I get off my phone, I feel more anxious, more nervous, more stressed out than I did when I went on. It's like I went on for like funny dog and baby videos and I came out with low grade trauma. That's how I feel when I get off the internet sometimes. And so I
Mm-hmm.
thought that this would be such a great topic for us to really just to tackle, because social media is huge. Obviously, everybody's on it. And when we even think about the idea of pausing the noise, and I think about what noise is loudest in my life to a certain extent, social media plays a big part of that. And
Yeah.
so when we think of like, what's the reflection? What do I want to reflect on? What's the core belief? Is social media helping me? or hurting me? I think that's really the question that I want to ask. Is it helping us or is it hurting us? And what do I need to do if it's going to be here in my life? What do I need to do to create balance? Because right now, I feel very unbalanced. I've done certain things and I'll talk about those certain things to create some more balance, but even still, I don't feel fully balanced in my consumption of the internet. Um
Hmm.
so so that I'll let you guys take it away from there. That's the noise for me.
Mhm. Yeah, I there were so many things that you said that resonated with me. Even when you talked about the phones in the morning, the first thing is that you want to jump on social media. And my husband and I, kind of this year, in fact, we just said, look, we're doing a reset, so there are no phones coming into the bedroom when it's time to sleep.
Oh.
And it's not the first thing that we're going to do in the morning. But when I tell you that we have to be intentional about that, because now you're having to shift and change a habit that you've had for all this time. And so that part really kind of resonated with me. And then I think the other thing is just around it's almost like FOMO, right? You feel like you're missing out if you don't
Mhm.
tap into social media on a regular basis. And you're really not. There's really not much that you're missing out on. But one of the things that really is impactful for me is I would probably be on social media a lot less if I were not an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And I think
So
that's
true.
almost like a whole nother conversation in itself. But, you feel like, man, if I'm not on social media, that means that I have to go back to like kind of these grassroots marketing and do all these different things to still stay visible and relevant. And so there's this unspoken pressure as an entrepreneur that if you want to be seen and you want to market effectively, that you have to have a certain amount of time on social media. And not to mention all the different platforms. So
Mhm.
how do you decide, right? I think part of it is like how do you decide where you're going to be? And last year, which was my first year as a full-time entrepreneur, I had to draw the line in the sand and say, you know what? I cannot be everywhere at the same time. And yes, there are tools where you can, cross post. But at the same time, you still have to manage comments. You still have to
Mhm.
manage interaction, right? You still have to manage being a real person if
My
that's important
goodness.
to you, right?
Yes.
And it can be so consuming of your time, of your energy. That's not even taking into the consideration around people who are just ugly, right?
Mhm.
And they have ugly things to say, and their whole mission in life is to be a troll on social
Yep.
media
Yep.
every
Yep.
Mhm.
single day. So there's that. But it really is exhausting. And when we talk later about just things that we can put in place, I think it's important for people to understand that at the end of the day, you still get to manage your time, you still get to manage your energy, and you still get to manage how you leverage what's really a tool for us.
Mhm.
Um, and not allow it to manage and control you. And I think what's happening, Sarah, to your point, you were never a phone person. Well, what's happening is that there's this like addiction that has happened in all
Very
of
much
us.
so.
It's managing us, right?
Very
It
much
is
so.
managing us. And my daughter who's a Gen Z, oh my gosh, that is their entire existence for many
Right.
of that population. That's how they learn, that's how they get information, that's how they get entertained. COVID didn't help with any of that because
At all.
that's all they had in COVID. And I bring up COVID because COVID shaped a lot of our kids in that generation, whether we like it or not. It was such and there's a flip side of the mental health piece that impacted them as well. But it's getting to the point where we are managing how we leverage this tool and reverse the control that it seems to be having on all of us.
Mhm.
It's so good. That is so good and it's so true. When I reflect on it, I think, first of all, Lena, when you talk about managing as an entrepreneur, When I think about how I'm jumping from Instagram to Facebook to TikTok to YouTube, I literally get exhausted. I'm just like, okay, it's just like too much. So I think it's so good when you're just like, okay, I'm going to be in one space and I'm going to be in this space, and then that's a hard stop. And also with what you were saying, just about being an entrepreneur, people, you say, oh, this restaurant is so good, blah blah blah. What's the first thing you're going to do? Instagram. Let me see what they have posted to see if it really is whatever. And that's where we're always just at. And to you, Dr. Sarah, same thing. I'm like, I'm in the bathroom, like, yeah, I need the phone. Why? I don't know. I just need it because I need it to whatever's going on. Do I need to make a post and respond to this because I'm still trying to keep my business going? I need a viral video because I'm trying to get paid. Like I need a little bit extra cash. Maybe it's that, but I feel like I am overly on social media for sure. For sure. And I think it would definitely be good. I have some tools that I use to, like, okay, Brian, relax, man. It like from this time to this time, you got to go pick up your kids. One, they got to do playtime. You got to make dinner. You don't need the phone in your hand for all of that. Ask your kids the questions that you asked after school and things like that. But it's something about this. Okay, I have a business. I have some type of social media personality, and I'm trying to keep it going. However, at the moment where I don't like it anymore, where it's just like, okay, what can I say? What can I do? It's like, hey, there's a problem there, sir.
Mhm.
There's an issue, and social media is not real life. So how can we, in this reflection, how can we reset so that, okay, you have to be there. You are trying to make a space for yourself, a platform, but what is healthy for you thereafter, that you are not feeling depleted because you've worked a full-time job, you are a full-time parent, you are a full-time husband, and then now you're trying to do social media full-time. Something has got to give. You don't have to give up, but there has to be a better balance so you don't have this burnout of it all together.
Well, I think what's ended up happening in our society is that more and more social media has become this place where it's not considered necessarily a luxury anymore. It's almost considered something that you need. Um, as an entrepreneur, it's something you need to stay relevant. It's something that you need to stay informed. It's something that you need to stay entertained. It's become and marketed itself as this necessity in our lives, not just a nice to have. And something that I've noticed about these algorithms is that these algorithms are so good at playing at any subconscious, deep-seated insecurity thing that you have. It can manifest it so quickly. So for me, I turn to social media a lot for information to stay informed. I'm a big news junkie. And I also have my core belief, I'm a catastrophizer, right? I'm a big catastrophizer. My
Mm.
algorithm goes, "Oh, you catastrophize? Let me give you all of the newsreels that are the worst case scenario of everything that can ever happen because I know that that's going to keep you on." There can also be and the minute I was like, I need to market my business more, somehow my algorithm was like, do you need to market your business more? Here are 5 steps on how to do that. And so it's for constantly feeding me the things I'm insecure about at the same time. So even though I'm consuming it for information, what it's also psychologically doing is sending me the message that your insecurity is valid. Your insecurity is valid. The negative thing that you think is true. It's constantly doing that as well, I'm noticing.
Yeah, that's so good. So
Yeah.
good and so true. And so
Mhm.
true. Yeah, I think social media, but are people really social like they used to be, right? When social media
Mhm.
first launched, people were genuinely social. How are you doing? How are your kids? How's your family? And it was a place where you could genuinely kind of pause from all of the noise. Well, now social media has become the noise that we're
Mhm.
now trying to free ourselves from. And it is hard to be visible and create this balance for your mental health. It is really hard. I think being a creator and not much of a consumer, right? Because I think, Sarah, you said you're more of a consumer.
Mhm.
I try to be more of a creator, but then I will tell you, and this is probably we probably could do part two of this, but I sometimes feel guilty that I'm just creating and I'm not supporting other people by
Mm.
going onto their
Mm.
thing and supporting them. Like there's this small guilt that I feel because other creators want to be supported. But if I'm just focusing on a creator because I have to do that for my own mental health, I don't really, the consumption is really where I get drained, right?
Mhm.
And then managing, hey, I have to be confident in who I am and what I
Yeah.
bring and not allow comparison to set in or
Mm.
recognize that, look, just because they do it that way doesn't mean I have to do it, right? And how do I stand firm in my own brilliance and my own secret sauce without
Mhm.
feeling like I have to look like this person that's constantly on my timeline? And I think just the balance of it all is also a point of exhaustion,
Mhm.
right? Um, and making sure that you recognize that, look, this truly is just a tool. And when you think about parenting, your children, that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, Brian, with your three girls, that's going to be on these, you have to manage how, I remember I had to tell how much time do I let her be on her tablet as she became a teenager. How much time does she get to be on these platforms? And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and as a parent, it's a little scary because we have the other side of it, the dark and ugly side of social media as well, that are luring our children into these very dark spaces, and they're just innocently scrolling and giving information, not realizing that, hey, there are predators out there,
Yeah.
it's there are just so many dynamics to this. And as we have this conversation, my nervous system is definitely, I could feel my body like tensing
Mhm.
up as we're talking about it because there are
Mhm.
so many components, and it's not, I mean, it is a loud noise.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It is a booming noise, and we
Yeah.
we have to figure out how do we reflect and do the reset on it.
Mhm.
Also, I think it's like a way to run away. So much is going on in the world, so much is scary, so much insecurity, and people will throw insecurity at you, people will throw politics at you and things like that, and that's on social media. However, it's a way to get away. You can look up a hashtag and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to scroll through this over here, today, and you kind of get lost in that because maybe it's money's low, maybe family is not acting right in what you want them to do or whatever, and it's like a form of control to you, in that space, even though it is, you are being consumed by it, but it's a way of escape for a lot of people. A lot of people
You
that I
just
see, it definitely is a way of escape.
It is. That's a
absolutely.
great point.
You just made me feel so ignorant. I was like, "You can look up a hashtag?" I had no idea you
Dr. Sarah, Dr. Sarah.
You see, it even gets the people like me who don't even know how to look up a hashtag. I mean, it gets wow.
Yeah, you could, yes. Whatever you want, and it'll be all post. It should be all post about that.
So, Sarah, let's talk about it. What are some things that you do to kind of move the reset dial there?
Well, how I've started to conceptualize social media, I've started to conceptualize it to almost being this endemic to being very similar to the sugar endemic,
Mm,
where we are being marketed things and we're also being given the messaging that it's personal choice, right? But when your supermarket is full 70% processed foods, you're not given much choice, and so you have to work that much harder for it not to be a part of your life. And I'm almost seeing social media in the same way, where it's taking up so much space that you have to work that much more hard and that much more intentionally about not having it do that. So just concrete things that I've done in my own life so far is I don't know how to do it because again, completely ignorant to these things, but I had my husband put on my Instagram to take out anything related to news so that I know that if I'm going on Instagram, I'm only going to be getting entertainment things, and I'm making the conscious choice to ignore my like news and pull that out of that space. And if I want to get news, I have like my For You page on TikTok that will give me certain things.
mhm,
I put one of those stoppers on my phone to at least help me build awareness of like how much time I'm spending on there. And I've made these dedications to when my son comes home from our in-laws and we're spending time at the end of the day as a family, that like phones go in a box. We're not spending time on our phones because I also don't want my almost 2-year-old to while we're being very good with him and not having screens around him, it's kind of hypocritical for us to say no screens for you, but mom and dad are constantly on their screens. And
Mhm.
so we've pulled it away there as well. But I think probably the biggest change is when I put my phone down, I now check in with myself to see how do I feel? How am I feeling at the end of this interaction? And if I am noticing that my nervous system is starting to get rebombarded because I am watching too much news. I am like allowing the social media kind of creep back into that the world is going to fall apart at any given time kind of, the things that my fears are. I make it a point to not watch the news, to make sure that I'm going to my very specific sources where I know I have certain podcasts that I listen to that are going to give me like very very dry, to the point information, and it's not going to be sensationalized. I will make it a point to start reverting back to the things that I know are very intentional in information gathering, because if I just allow it to free flow, I'm going to end up in a state of panic.
I yeah, so I definitely the part about putting your phones away resonates with me. My husband and I, we've committed to having date night every other Friday. And one of the things that he said for this year is that there are no phones allowed for date night, which,
Mhm.
Mm.
this Friday, tomorrow is going to be our first official. We always have our phones when we have date night. And so he said to me, yeah, there are no phones during date night because it takes away from that intimate interaction that we need to have. And I think one of the downsides about social media is that it also minimizes and detracts from human connection, which
Ooh.
we need, right? And I think once again, COVID didn't help with that, right? And so having those boundaries in place, like I said, at night and then with date night, so that we can improve our connection. I think the other thing for me is I am very intentional about curating my timeline as much as possible.
Mhm.
So this works really well, like on Facebook. Like if people share things that just not in alignment with my values or what I want to see, I either mute them, or if it's really bad, I'm going to block them and I'm just going to remove them altogether.
Talk
It
about a
doesn't
boundary.
right, talking about a boundary, right? And I had to become very intentional about that because people often say, well, just scroll past it, but you're still seeing it. And sometimes, even when we scroll past it, we're still processing it subconsciously, right? It's in that subconscious. And so, curating the timeline is something that I do. And I really believe in the concept of digital wellness. Just like you have mental health, mental wellness, physical wellness, I do think that we need to talk more about digital wellness and what that looks like for you as the individual, which means
Mhm.
that there may be times that you decide, yeah, I have a business, but it's okay to take 5 days off and just reset away from social media. Your business is not going to fall apart if you miss 5 days of creating content, right? Your world is not going to shatter if you don't consume any social media for a week. Your body is going to say, oh, we need it. And it's going to crave it for the first 24 to 48 hours because, once again, it's a habit and a pattern. Recognizing that you owe it to yourself to be the best self you can be. That means mentally, spiritual, physically. And I think because of what Dr. Sarah said, we are just,
Little
social media
mommy.
is not optional for us, right? It is not optional. And so we have to make the decision that, hey, I'm not going to have the sugar for 30 days. I'm not
Mhm.
going to do so. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever's healthy for you, it's important that you decide that I want to be in this space, but if I'm going to be in this space, I need to protect my wellness. And you do what's necessary in order for you to do that so that your day to day living is not consumed by social media in a way that you're not thriving and you're not living your best life because you're allowing it to control you altogether.
That is good. And I say that's good because I'm like, okay, I got to take some of that because I'm like, okay, date night, no phones. Because in my head, I'm like, okay, what couple content can I create right now that will hit? It just in a sense, okay, what are we talking about? Oh, that's funny. Let's rather than just being in the moment that we really like each other, we really love each other. We're out here. It's
Mhm.
me and you because that is so much more valuable than trying to make a moment for other people, you know,
Yeah.
and it makes me think that, but it has become so natural and so in tune to always just pick up the phone and create something. It's just like you are losing that real intimacy, that real
Mhm.
time. Like, hey, we got kids, we have 2 hours to have this meal and to really like check in. So let's really just be here and be aware. But it's
So
almost like it's
some
just become embedded in that, hey, this is normal. The phone is normal. It's
Right.
normal. It's us. We're
Yeah.
here. But
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
fully present. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm kind of hearing from all of us really is a big tool is hold certain spaces sacred.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Certain times,
Absolutely.
certain spaces, you hold it sacred. Whether that's the and that space can have different goals. It can be the goal of connecting with somebody you love. It can be the goal of just challenging yourself to not have constant entertainment. It can be the goal of wanting to just slow your mind down. Um, but making intentional time in your life where you're putting it away. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
I like
Absolutely.
that. I
Yeah,
like
and
that a
paying
lot.
attention to the screen time reports, right? So
Right.
one of the challenges that I gave to my daughter is like every week challenge yourself to have less screen time based on that reporting. What was it last week? And really try to reduce that. Um,
Mhm.
because let's face it, I think most of our reporting is probably excessive
Mhm.
for different reasons, but excessive. I think even for me, I love what you said about just protecting those sacred times. We have dinner every night at the same time every single night, right around 6:37, unless my daughter's working. We don't allow phones at the table, and we've been doing that for about
Mhm.
3 years. And I cannot tell you, and I didn't even have that epiphany until this moment that that's where we as a family have the most meaningful conversations together.
Right.
We are at that dinner table, there are no phones, and we are now in this space of what did you do today? What went well? What didn't go well? What are you challenged with? It's
Mm.
meaningful. And social media, I think, absolutely just kind of robs us of having meaningful connection that we really need in our lives
Mhm.
to be healthy.
I also feel
Absolutely.
like you probably could get more work done as well. Cause sometimes you could be creating, but sometimes you
Oh my
get lost in
gosh.
the scroll and it's like, I
Talk
could have
about
just
it.
used this time to do the logistics of whether you talk. For me, it's always business. I'm like, I could have did these notes. I
Mhm.
could have started these taxes. I'm like, I could have
Mhm.
followed up with these emails. But it's just like, okay, but I also have ADHD. So when things happen, it just kind of, it just kind
Mhm.
of happens. But I think that's definitely good. I'm definitely gonna add the what is it called? The time stopper watch clock thing. Is like, hey,
Mm,
you've been on here for 30 minutes. It's time to wrap this thing up. And I think
yeah.
that could definitely help. But the sacred spaces again, to double down on that for sure. Like, okay,
Mhm.
at the table we're eating, keep the phone should be in the room, not even close
Mhm.
enough where I can hear like the vibration of it to be like, hold on, let me just check this real quick. No, it can
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
being
that.
okay with putting your phone on do not disturb. I do
Yeah.
that during the day, putting my phone on do not disturb. And you can set it, right? So Sarah, I'll share this maybe. But one of the things I do is I set it so that if my daughter or my husband or my siblings need to reach me, even if it's on do not disturb, it will come through. But
Mhm.
that's it. That's it. No one else gets to go, come through if it's on do not disturb. And it took me a while because my personality is I like to be pretty responsive to people. And so I used to feel like, oh, I need to respond right away. And I know this is not social media, but it's still part of who I am. And so it could
Mhm.
Hmm.
translate to social media. So I would feel like I'd have to respond right away. And the bottom line is there's no rule that says if somebody texts you or somebody puts a comment on your social media that, hey, you have to respond in this exact moment. Um,
When if you weren't home, people just couldn't get in contact
And
with
you had to
you.
check the
You just
voicemail. Yeah,
weren't
I'll get
there.
back
They
to
just
you.
couldn't. Like
yeah, exactly. Leave a voicemail. I don't think people even check their voicemails anymore because they expect that you respond right away. But I think part of the permission to reset, to reflect and reset is I could put my phone on do not disturb. I can limit the notifications throughout the day to Brian's point so that I can be more productive, right? And I don't get distracted
Yeah,
because social media absolutely can be one of our biggest distractions to I would say productivity and meaningful connection.
Yeah, and it
absolutely.
does show, that, because what we're all talking about is when the phone is down, we are more so have a connection with the people who really matter to
We're
us.
more
So it's
present.
like we're in this world with thousands of people looking or whatever, but I'm like, what really matters if something really happened to someone, those people are likely in your home.
Hmm.
They're in your space, you know?
Yeah.
So that's really good.
For me, after the reflection of, is this hurting me? Is this something I need? And what can I do? It sounds like, yes, it is. Building more awareness around that, like kind of regularly, is going to continue to be important. And just taking some time to hold space, make sure that there's certain times where I am intentionally putting it down, being present, and making essentially sacred time, creating sacred time that
Yeah.
is not for the phone, being intentional about that, and really just beginning to continue to look inward and noticing ongoingly how this is impacting me.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take that all. Well, this is another episode of Pause the Noise, giving you permission to reflect and reset with Dr. Sarah Nicholas, Lena Wilson, and Brian Stokes. Until next time, much love. Bye.
Ciao.